Welcome back to my YouTube channel, another exciting deep dive where we uncover the shocking secrets hidden inside the smallest coins in your pocket, and today we're going to explore a mystery so surprising that it has stunned collectors, hobbyists and treasure hunters around the world. So get ready because we're talking about the incredible 1984 1-cent coin that some experts and enthusiasts claim can reach up to $7 million due to its extraordinary errors, rare production mistakes, and unusual minting possibilities that make this coin stand out from millions of ordinary pennies. And as we begin this journey, I want to welcome all of you who love learning about the rarest coins, hidden mint errors and strange production quirks that can turn an ordinary cent into a life-changing fortune, because today's story about the 1984 penny takes us into the world of doubled dies, misstrikes, planchet defects, off-center strikes, transitional errors, die deterioration, late die state anomalies, metal composition surprises and countless small imperfections that might look insignificant but can dramatically increase the value of a coin when all conditions align perfectly, especially in a year like 1984 when the US Mint was transitioning, experimenting and dealing with pressure to maintain production quality after the change from bronze to copper-plated zinc in 1982, a shift that resulted in years of striking inconsistencies, and the 1984 cent is one of those coins that carries the legacy of that transitional chaos, because the mint was still adjusting to the new softer zinc core which cracked, bowed, blistered, warped and reacted unpredictably under high-speed striking, meaning that any die that wasn't perfectly prepared or aligned could create weird distortions, shifts or doubling that today's collectors would pay unbelievable amounts of money to acquire, especially when we talk about the famous 1984 doubled ear error, a striking misalignment in Lincoln's ear that shows a clear doubling effect on the earlobe area, creating a visual anomaly so bold that even amateur collectors can identify it with the naked eye, and this single error has already proven how valuable the 1984 penny can be, because high-grade examples of the doubled ear variety have sold for thousands of dollars even in lower mint state grades. But imagine finding a version of this error that combines doubling with other mistakes like a premium strike, a dramatic off-center shift, a misaligned die, a wrong planchet composition or a transitional strike, which could instantly push the value into the millions, especially if the coin survived in near-perfect condition, untouched, uncirculated, crisp with deep red luster and minimal contact marks, creating that perfect storm of rarity, desirability and historical significance that pushes collectors into bidding wars because they know that when an error is rare enough and condition is exceptional enough, the price becomes a matter of obsession rather than logic, and this theoretical $7 million value emerges from imagining the most extreme possibilities that could have happened inside the mint during that hectic era, because the early 1980s were filled with interesting minting inconsistencies, like leftover bronze planchets accidentally mixing with the new zinc-based planchets, resulting in extremely rare transitional errors that now sell for staggering amounts, and because leftover stock sometimes remained in mint bins, machinery and storage compartments, the possibility exists that a few bronze planchets may have been struck in 1984 even though official production was supposed to use copper-plated zinc, and if such a coin emerged with the famous doubled ear error, struck with crisp detail, preserved in flawless condition, it could instantly shock the numismatic world and reach a valuation so high that collectors would compare it with legendary coins like the 1943 bronze cent or the 1974 aluminum cent. But rarity doesn't stop there because 1984 also saw issues with die fatigue and overuse, meaning dies wore out sooner when striking the softer zinc cores, leading to cracks, cuts, die chips, die clashes and subtle distortions that today can add significant value if bold enough, such as dramatic die cracks across Lincoln's face, large cuts forming along the rim, or deep clashes from dies striking one another without a planchet in between, imprinting ghost-like images onto the coin surface, creating eerie shapes behind Lincoln's head or in front of the memorial, and collectors absolutely love these dramatic minting flaws because each one is unique, and when you combine these unique errors with the fame of the doubled ear variety, the premium potential skyrockets, especially if such a coin were part of an extremely limited surviving group, making it not just rare but nearly mythical, and when a coin reaches mythical rarity it gains value not only from its physical qualities but from collector culture, hype, auction drama, media attention and the prestige of owning something so scarce that only one or two people on Earth can ever possess it, and that is how extreme valuations like $7 million become possible in theory, because the value of a rare coin is determined by demand, rarity, historical context, and emotional impact. And the 1984 penny has all the ingredients to produce such a valuable specimen if the right combination of errors came together by accident, especially when we consider metal composition anomalies like planchet plating blisters, where trapped gas under the copper layer produces bubble-like distortions that can add character and uniqueness. But even more valuable would be an unplated 1984 cent revealing its raw zinc core, a striking error already known to fetch high prices, and if such a coin also carried doubling, off-center striking or wrong planchet composition, it would immediately become one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. And when imagining how a $7 million 1984 cent could exist, we must think about the rarest minting scenarios, like a coin struck on a foreign planchet intended for another country, because the U.S. Mint produced planchets for multiple nations in the 1980s, and mix-ups occasionally occurred, resulting in coins with incorrect weight, thickness, or metal composition that today are extremely valuable. And if a foreign planchet mixing error happened in 1984 combined with dramatic doubling or die clash, the rarity would be off the charts, especially if the coin survived in pristine, uncirculated condition stored accidentally in a sealed mint set or lost in a forgotten roll inside a collector's estate. And even though the average person might dismiss a penny as worthless, dedicated collectors understand that minting errors are like signatures of chaos, unpredictable and unrepeatable, meaning that each severe mistake becomes a historic artifact. From the mint's inner workings, a mystery preserved in metal, and the 1984 penny stands out as one of the most dramatic examples because of its doubled ear, which is already famous, but when expanded into theoretical combinations involving wrong planchets, unplated cores, deep die clashes, extreme off-center strikes, broad strikes, struck through debris, and transitional leftovers, suddenly the imagination opens to the possibility of a truly one-of-a-kind coin worth millions. And people often underestimate how much collectors are willing to pay for the privilege of owning something unique, because for elite collectors this is not about the face value or even the historic value, but about being the only person alive with that specific object, a physical piece of minting history frozen in time, impossible to duplicate. And the 1984 penny, with all its potential for layered errors, symbolizes that chase for perfection in imperfection, that quest to find the rarest possible version. Hidden among billions of ordinary coins, and even though most 1984 cents are worth face value, the possibility that somewhere in an attic, a forgotten jar, a childhood collection, or an unsearched roll lies a rare combination error capable of reaching multi-million-dollar valuation is what excites collectors, drives searches, and fuels the stories of incredible discoveries. Because every legendary coin ever found started as an ordinary piece of pocket change until someone looked closer, paid attention, and realized they were holding a treasure disguised as a penny. And the dream of discovering that ultra-rare $7 million 1984 error continues to inspire people to check their coins, explore their old collections, and imagine the life-changing moment when an overlooked cent reveals itself to be a spectacular error, a coin so extraordinary that it becomes part of numismatic history forever. And this possibility is what makes the 1984 penny one of the most thrilling coins to investigate, imagine, discuss, and hunt for. Because even though the perfect combination of errors is extremely unlikely, rarity itself is built on impossibilities becoming real, which is why collectors around the world keep searching, hoping that one day the ultimate 1984 cent will appear and rewrite the story of rare pennies forever. Next, 2004 1 cent coin, to the channel where we dive deep into the unbelievable world of rare coins, hidden minting mistakes, shocking numismatic discoveries, and the astonishing stories behind the smallest pieces of metal that can secretly hold life-changing value. And today I want to welcome all of you coin lovers, treasure hunters, and curious viewers, because we are going to explore something extraordinary, a topic that has electrified collectors around the world, and that is the fascinating story of how a seemingly ordinary 2004 1 cent coin has been rumored in extreme cases to reach an unbelievable $6 million when it carries the perfect storm of rare errors, minting mistakes, and extraordinary production anomalies that transform a simple Lincoln cent into one of the most valuable pieces of modern U.S. coinage. And this journey into the world of the 2004 penny reveals how a tiny copper-plated zinc coin struck in a time when the mint was pushing high-speed mass production could end up with an astonishing cascade of errors. And as we begin this detailed adventure, we start with the warmest welcome to all viewers returning and new, because today's topic holds layers of mystery, rare mechanics, minting chaos, die pressure inconsistencies, planchet instability, and transitional oddities that make the 2004 cent a fascinating candidate for extreme numismatic value. And when we look back at the historical context of the early 2000s, the US Mint was producing billions of coins each year at record speed, carefully trying to balance demand while maintaining quality, yet even with modern machinery, errors still slipped through, and in 2004 the combination of aging equipment, overworked dies, high-volume demands and the fragile nature of zinc planchets created the perfect environment for rare mistakes that collectors dream of finding, mistakes like dramatic off-center strikes, where the coin design is shifted so far that part of the blank planchet is exposed, or the striking happens on the very edge, resulting in bizarre shapes that fascinate collectors because each one is unique, and then there are broad strikes where the collar that normally holds the coin in place fails, causing the metal to spread outward, creating a wide, pancake-like coin with stretched edges, a type of error that already sells for high amounts, but if you imagine a 2004 cent with a broad strike combined with other rare mistakes, the value climbs exponentially, and then comes the possibility of double strikes, those dramatic errors where the coin is struck once, ejected imperfectly and struck again at a slightly different angle, creating overlapping images of Lincoln's portrait or the memorial design at the time, and collectors absolutely love these because they look chaotic and artistic, representing the exact moment the mint machinery malfunctioned. And if a 2004 penny showed a strong double strike with noticeable misalignment, deep impressions and bold details, especially if preserved in mint state, the price could shoot up dramatically, especially if combined with a second layer of errors like die cracks, cuts or clashes. And speaking of die cracks, 2004 was a year where many coins developed minor cracks around the lettering, Lincoln's bust or the rim, the metal flowing differently over time due to repeated pressure on zinc cores, and while minor cracks are common, dramatic lightning bolt-style cracks or thick cuts, where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a blob-like raised area, can dramatically increase value, and if a 2004 penny exists with a massive cut, large enough to drastically impact the design, such an example could command thousands, but now imagine if that same coin also carried doubling, misalignment or an incorrect planchet, making it exponentially rarer and pushing theoretical value into millions. And now we arrive at the heart of what makes the 2004 penny such a strong candidate for extreme hypothetical valuations, and that is the delicate nature of copper-plated zinc planchets used since 1982, which are prone to blistering, peeling, bubbling and plating defects due to chemical reactions between the copper layer and the zinc core, and in 2004 production stresses were high, meaning plating defects appeared more frequently, creating raised bubbles, splits, missing copper patches or even fully unplated zinc surfaces that appear silver instead of copper, and unplated 2004 cents already sell for impressive amounts. Because they are visually striking and rare, but imagine a completely unplated 2004 cent combined with extreme doubling on the date, a dramatic off-center strike, a die clash showing ghost images of Lincoln's profile, and a planchet crack splitting the surface like a lightning bolt. Such a coin would be one of the most spectacular errors ever discovered and could easily exceed millions at auction simply because no other example like it would exist, and rarity is one of the strongest forces behind coin value. And the more layers of uniqueness a coin has, the more collectors are willing to pay, and when we explore the theoretical scenarios under which a 2004 penny could reach $6 million, we imagine the ultimate combination of errors, a one-of-a-kind masterpiece of minting chaos, possibly a coin struck on a foreign planchet meant for another country. Because in the early 2000s the US Mint assisted other nations with coin production, and mix-ups occasionally happened in earlier decades, so although rare, the idea of a 2004 cent accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or foreign country cannot be completely dismissed, and if such a coin carried a noticeable difference in weight, color, or metal composition, it would instantly gain astronomical importance, especially if the mistake were obvious enough to stand out visually. And even more dramatic would be a 2004 cent struck on a leftover pre-1982 bronze planchet, a possibility extremely unlikely but not theoretically impossible, because leftover planchets sometimes remain stuck in machinery bins from earlier years as seen in famous transitional errors like the 1983 bronze cents or the 1943 bronze cent, and if a 2004 bronze transitional error were found, It would shock the numismatic world and instantly become one of the most valuable U.S. coins ever discovered because it would prove the existence of a minting anomaly spanning decades, and collectors would compete fiercely to own such a legendary piece, pushing its price into multimillion-dollar territory. And then we consider wrong die combinations, such as a 2004 cent struck with a mismatched reverse, which has happened in various years with state quarters and nickels, and if somehow a 2004 cent was struck with a reverse die from a different year, series, or denomination, the result would be one of the greatest mint blunders ever recorded, a coin so rare that only a single example might exist, and that kind of one-of-one rarity is exactly what drives valuations into $6 million or higher, because collectors value the impossible, the unimaginable, the errors that shouldn't exist yet somehow do, and the 2004 cent, produced in huge numbers during a time of high-speed minting stress, remains a rich playground for such theoretical scenarios, and we cannot forget about the influence of grading, because a coin's condition plays a huge role in determining its final value, and if one of these extraordinary error combinations survived in flawless mint state, with sharp details, strong luster, no scratches and perfect surfaces, it would instantly stand out from billions of ordinary cents, and grading companies like PCGS or NGC would label it as a unique specimen, giving it not just certification but historical legitimacy. And once a coin enters the auction world with such a backstory, an impossible error, perfect condition and undeniable uniqueness, collectors begin bidding not for the metal, not for the denomination, but for the story, the rarity and the prestige, and that is how a $6 million valuation becomes not just possible but believable within the world of extreme high-end collecting. And when we imagine this 2004 penny, we imagine a coin that defies probability, a coin born from a moment when multiple minting failures happened simultaneously, producing something that escaped detection, circulated unnoticed or sat in a forgotten role for years until finally discovered by someone curious enough to look closely, because many of the most valuable coins in history were not found in museums or auctions but in jars, drawers, piggy banks and attic boxes where they silently waited for the right eyes to recognize their value, and that possibility is what keeps collectors searching, examining each penny, flipping through old rolls and exploring every small detail under magnification, because every great discovery starts with a coin no one thought was special until someone looked closer. And the dream of uncovering a rare multi-error 2004 cent worth millions is what makes this hobby so thrilling, so unpredictable and so full of adventure. And as we journey into the world of rare errors, minting mysteries and valuable anomalies, the story of the 2004 cent becomes a reminder that incredible treasures can be found in the most unexpected places. Next 2017 D1 cent coin to the channel, and welcome to all of our passionate viewers, coin collectors, treasure hunters, numismatic enthusiasts and anyone curious about the incredible hidden stories behind coins that appear ordinary at first glance but hold extraordinary secrets, because today we are diving into one of the most fascinating, rare, and high-value modern pennies, the 2017 D1 cent coin, which under the right circumstances of errors, minting mistakes and extreme rarity, has been theorized to be worth up to $5 million. And while many people dismiss pennies as having little to no value, the truth is that coins like the 2017 D cent demonstrate that even the most common denominations can become the center of intense collector attention and multimillion-dollar valuations if the perfect combination of mistakes and anomalies occur. And as we start this journey, let's welcome both returning fans and new viewers who are ready to explore the hidden world of errors. Misstrikes, die anomalies, off-center strikes, double dies, planchet defects, transitional errors, striking malfunctions and countless other production oddities that can turn a simple Lincoln penny into a rare collectible of extreme value, because in 2017 the US Mint was producing billions of coins, maintaining a fast-paced production schedule that left room for extraordinary possibilities. And when we examine the mechanics of minting in 2017, we see that the combination of high-speed presses, delicate copper-plated zinc planchets, and the human element of die preparation could sometimes create unusual and extremely rare coins, and the 2017 D cent is no exception, because certain errors that year, if severe enough and preserved in pristine condition, could theoretically command prices in the millions due to the interplay of rarity, desirability, historical context and uniqueness. And one of the most famous types of errors in modern coins is the double die, where a Misalignment in the die engraving process causes a striking that appears doubled, often visible in the lettering, Lincoln's profile, the date or other features, and in 2017 cents, there have been reports and rumors of strong double die examples affecting the date, the word Liberty, or even the rim of the coin. And collectors know that such strong double die errors are among the most sought-after mistakes because they represent a one-of-a-kind misstep in the minting process that cannot be replicated. And if we consider a hypothetical 2017 cent that combines a dramatic double die with other errors, the potential for extreme value becomes real, because the coin could also feature an off-center strike, where the planchet did not sit perfectly in the collar during the press strike, resulting in a design that is partially cut off, shifted or appearing near the edge of the coin. And off-center strikes are particularly prized when the misalignment is extreme, because they visually stand out, demonstrate a rare failure in the minting process, and make the coin easily distinguishable from standard examples. And if such an off-center coin also carries doubling, die cracks, cuts, or metal anomalies, the rarity multiplies, and collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums to own these unique specimens, especially when the coin is preserved in mint state with no wear, full luster, and sharp details, because condition is one of the most important factors in determining extreme coin value. And when we examine the 2017 cent from a technical standpoint, we can also consider planchet defects, such as missing metal, lamination errors, clipping, or incorrect metal composition, which occasionally occur when the thin copper plating over zinc reacts unpredictably or when leftover metal debris interferes during the striking process. And even subtle variations in planchet thickness, color, or finish can add uniqueness and premium value to a coin, especially when combined with strong visual errors. And in 2017, the mint was using high-speed presses that occasionally allowed debris, misaligned dies, or improperly prepared planchets to produce unusual anomalies that are rare because most flawed coins are detected and removed, leaving only a very few examples that escape into circulation or collectors' hands. And this is why the hypothetical value of a 2017 cent can rise to $5 million, because extreme rarity plus exceptional visual appeal plus historical interest creates an extraordinary demand among serious collectors. And when we talk about possible errors on a 2017 penny, we also need to consider striking anomalies like broad strikes, where the coin is struck outside the collar, producing a widened, flattened appearance, sometimes with partial rim formation or dramatic stretching of Lincoln's profile. And broad strikes are particularly valuable when combined with other errors like die cracks, double dies, off-center strikes, or plating defects, because the combination becomes unique, creating a coin that is unlike anything else ever discovered. And another possibility is a struck-through error, where foreign material such as grease, dirt, or metal debris becomes trapped between the die and the planchet, leaving an imprint on the coin that can alter Lincoln's face, the date, the lettering, or even the rim. And struck-through errors are rare and highly collectible because they capture a literal moment of chaos in the minting process, frozen forever in metal. And when such an error occurs on a 2017 cent in uncirculated condition, the value can skyrocket into millions due to the unique combination of rarity, visibility, historical significance, and the wow factor collectors love. And beyond physical striking anomalies, we can also consider transitional errors, which happen when leftover dies, planchets, or equipment from one production run accidentally mix with the current production, producing a coin with characteristics not officially intended for that year. And in 2017, while the mint had modern quality controls, the sheer volume of coins produced makes it theoretically possible that a rare transitional error could exist, such as a misdated planchet, a die intended for a special minting experiment, or even a subtle variation in metal composition, all of which could contribute to a coin's extreme rarity and value. And when we explore the potential for combined errors, we imagine a 2017 cent with double die on the date, dramatic off-center strike, broad strike characteristics, die cracks or cuts, and a subtle planchet anomaly, preserved in flawless condition, which would instantly become one of the most valuable modern cents ever recorded, with collectors potentially bidding millions simply for the chance to own a coin that cannot be reproduced. A coin that represents an extraordinary accident of minting history, and this is the reason why the 2017 penny captures the imagination of collectors, because it shows that even in the modern era of advanced machinery, coins are still subject to unpredictable anomalies, producing one-of-a-kind artifacts that combine artistry, history, rarity and technical curiosity, and when a coin is as visually striking as a heavily doubled die 2017 D penny with additional errors, it becomes more than a monetary object. It becomes a conversation piece, a collector's trophy, and an investment of extraordinary potential, because rarity, uniqueness and condition are what drive the most extreme valuations in the numismatic world, and the story of the 2017 D cent reminds us that even a coin from a year most of us associate with ordinary circulation can suddenly appear in a forgotten collection, a jar of coins, a piggy bank, or an estate sale and reveal itself to be a multimillion-dollar treasure due to a rare combination of errors, misstrikes, anomalies and exceptional preservation, and collectors know that these extreme possibilities, though unlikely, are exactly what make the hunt so thrilling, because the potential for discovery exists in every roll, every coin box, and every forgotten stack, and when such a coin surfaces, it not only commands attention but reshapes the understanding of what is possible in modern coin collecting, and therefore, the legend of the $5 million 2017 D penny continues to inspire collectors, hobbyists and treasure hunters worldwide to look closer, study harder, and imagine the unimaginable, because one tiny coin with the perfect combination of minting errors can change the life of the person who discovers it, turning ordinary metal into a priceless artifact, capturing the story of human error, mechanical imperfection, rarity, and the allure of something that simply should not exist yet somehow does, and that is what makes the 2017 D penny one of the most fascinating modern coins to explore, research, study, and dream about, and why collectors everywhere are captivated by its extreme potential, keeping the legend alive and the hunt ongoing, proving that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprises and the highest values imaginable when the rarest mistakes align perfectly. Next 2006 1-cent coin, the channel, and a warm welcome to all of our viewers, collectors, treasure hunters, numismatic enthusiasts, and curious minds who are fascinated by the hidden stories behind coins that most people pass off as ordinary change, because today we are delving into one of the most extraordinary and rare modern pennies, the 2006 1-cent coin, which under the rarest circumstances of errors, minting mistakes, and extreme anomalies has been theorized to reach an astounding $4 million, and while most people see a penny as a simple, nearly worthless denomination, the 2006 1-cent coin demonstrates how even a modern penny can become an object of immense fascination, historical intrigue, and extraordinary value if the right combination of minting errors and preservation conditions converge. And as we begin this exciting journey, let me welcome both returning viewers and new enthusiasts who are ready to explore the hidden world of minting anomalies. Striking errors, misaligned dies, double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, planchet defects, die cracks, cuts, struck through debris, transitional errors, metal composition anomalies, and countless other peculiarities that can transform a common coin into a priceless collector's item, because in 2006 the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies at high speed, operating under the pressures of modern production efficiency while still maintaining quality standards, yet even with advanced machinery, human oversight, and automated inspection, rare errors inevitably occurred, and the 2006 penny is no exception, because the interplay of high-speed presses, delicate copper-plated zinc planchets, and die stress sometimes led to anomalies that today's collectors dream of finding, anomalies such as the dramatic doubled die, where misalignment in the die engraving process results in a coin that appears doubled, often affecting the date, the word Liberty, Lincoln's profile, or the rim, and in 2006, strong double die examples are particularly prized because they capture a moment of minting error that cannot be recreated, a true accident frozen in metal, and if a 2006 cent combined a strong double die with other errors, the potential for extraordinary value skyrockets, because coins can also exhibit off-center strikes, where the planchet is misaligned in the press, causing a portion of the design to be cut off or shifted toward the edge, and extreme off-center strikes are highly valued for their dramatic visual effect, rarity, and the story they tell about the minting process, and if such a coin also featured broad strike characteristics, where the collar fails and the metal spreads outward, producing a wider, flatter coin with stretched images of Lincoln's portrait or the reverse design, the rarity and value increase even more, and further adding to the potential value are die cracks, cuts, Or striking anomalies, where a small piece of the die breaks off, leaving raised irregular areas on the coin, or a die crack forms intricate patterns along the date, letters, or Lincoln's bust, creating unique, one-of-a-kind coins that collectors find irresistible. And we must also consider planchet defects, which in modern pennies can include lamination errors, missing copper plating, unusual metal flow, or even fully unplated zinc cores, each of which adds visual intrigue and rarity to a coin. And in 2006, production stresses on the zinc planchet sometimes led to blistering, peeling, or bubbling of the copper layer, producing coins that are visually striking and highly collectible, especially if the defects are dramatic and well preserved. And when we imagine a theoretical 2006 penny worth $4 million, we are envisioning the ultimate combination of errors, such as a dramatically doubled die on the date, a severe off-center strike, broad strike characteristics, prominent die cracks or cuts, and a noticeable planchet anomaly like missing plating or a lamination error, preserved in mint state with full luster, sharp details, and minimal contact marks. Because condition is one of the most critical factors in determining the value of high-end coins, and coins with perfect die appeal and a complex array of errors attract elite collectors who are willing to pay astronomical sums to own a piece of numismatic history that cannot be replicated. And this is the essence of why a 2006 penny could theoretically reach $4 million. Because the intersection of rarity, uniqueness, visual appeal, condition, historical context, and collector demand creates extreme valuations. And beyond striking anomalies and planchet defects, we also have to consider transitional errors, which can occur when leftover dies, planchets, or equipment from prior production runs accidentally mix into current production, producing a coin that has characteristics unintended for its official release year. And while rare, the possibility of a 2006 cent struck on a misdated planchet, an experimental die, or with a subtle variation in metal composition, could contribute to its extreme rarity and desirability. And when multiple errors combine on a single coin, the value potential multiplies exponentially, because collectors place immense premium on coins that are one of a kind, and the rarity itself becomes a story, a mystery, and a symbol of human error and mechanical imperfection captured forever in metal. And another category of extreme interest is struck through errors, where foreign material such as grease, debris, or metal fragments become trapped between the die and the planchet during striking, imprinting unusual shapes or impressions onto the coin, which could distort Lincoln's face, the date, lettering, or rim. And struck-through errors are rare and highly collectible because they represent a literal frozen moment of chaos in the minting process. And when such an error occurs on a 2006 penny, especially in combination with other anomalies, its value can skyrocket to levels that seem unimaginable, because rarity, uniqueness, and visual impact are what collectors prize above all else. And grading further amplifies the value, as a coin in flawless mint state with certification from NGC or PCGS provides both authenticity and historical legitimacy, allowing collectors to bid with confidence at premium levels. And in imagining the ultimate 2006 cent worth $4 million, we can picture a coin that combines a dramatically doubled die, a severe off-center strike, broad strike characteristics, die cracks, cuts, and planchet defects, all preserved in perfect condition with sharp details, full red luster, and pristine surfaces. And such a coin would become instantly legendary, drawing attention from collectors worldwide, creating bidding wars, and inspiring stories, media coverage, and lifelong fascination. Because the discovery of such a coin is not just a monetary event but a cultural one, turning an ordinary penny into a historical artifact, a collector's trophy, and a multimillion-dollar investment. And even though most 2006 cents are common, circulated coins with face value only, the possibility that somewhere, perhaps in a forgotten jar, a childhood collection, or a long-lost roll, a coin exists with this perfect combination of errors, untouched and preserved, is what drives collectors to search meticulously, examine each coin under magnification, study anomalies, and dream of the life-changing moment when a common-looking penny reveals itself as a masterpiece of minting chaos. And this potential for discovery, the thrill of finding something unique, the excitement of holding a coin that defies probability, is precisely what makes the story of the 2006 1-cent coin so compelling. Because even in the modern era of advanced minting technology, human and mechanical errors still occur, producing coins that are literally one of a kind. and when such a coin surfaces in pristine condition with multiple errors, it captures the imagination, commands extreme collector attention, and becomes a multimillion-dollar treasure, and that is why the legend of the $4 million 2006 penny continues to fascinate collectors, fuel searches, inspire imaginations, and remind everyone that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprises, the rarest errors, and the most extreme potential value when the perfect combination of mistakes, anomalies, and preservation converge in a single, extraordinary piece of numismatic history, and so the 2006 penny remains a symbol of how ordinary coins can unexpectedly become extraordinary, demonstrating that hidden treasures can exist in the most unlikely places, waiting for the discerning eye, the curious collector, or the lucky individual to uncover a coin that is not just metal, not just currency, but a piece of history, a unique artifact, and a multi-million-dollar wonder. And this is the story, the excitement, and the ultimate fascination of the 2006 1-cent coin, a small piece of copper-plated zinc that carries the potential for incredible value, rare beauty, and timeless numismatic intrigue. Last 2002 1-cent coin, to the channel, and a warm welcome to all of our passionate viewers, collectors, treasure hunters, numismatic enthusiasts, and curious minds who are fascinated by the hidden stories behind coins that at first glance appear ordinary but can hold extraordinary value, because today we are diving into the incredible world of the 2002 1-cent coin. A coin that under the rarest circumstances of minting errors, striking mistakes, and extreme anomalies has been theorized to reach a staggering $3 million, and while most people see a penny as a small, nearly worthless piece of change, the 2002 1-cent coin demonstrates how even modern coins can become objects of immense fascination, historical intrigue, and extraordinary monetary worth if the perfect combination of errors and preservation conditions converge. And as we embark on this detailed exploration, let me welcome both returning viewers and new enthusiasts who are ready to immerse themselves in the world of minting anomalies, misstrikes, double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, planchet defects, die cracks, cuts, struck-through debris, transitional errors, and countless other peculiarities that can transform a common penny into a high-value collectible, because in 2002 the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies at high speed, balancing modern production efficiency with quality control, and even with advanced machinery and careful human oversight, rare errors inevitably occurred, and the 2002 penny is no exception, because the combination of high-speed presses, delicate copper-plated zinc planchets, and die were sometimes produced anomalies that today's collectors dream of finding, anomalies such as dramatic double dies, where a misalignment in the die engraving process causes a coin to appear doubled, often affecting the date, the word Liberty, Lincoln's profile, or even the rim of the coin, and in 2002, strong double die examples are particularly prized because they capture a moment of minting error frozen in metal, a perfect accident that cannot be replicated. And when we imagine a 2002 penny combining a dramatic double die with other errors, the potential for extraordinary value becomes clear, because coins can also exhibit off-center strikes, where the planchet does not sit correctly in the press, causing part of the design to be cut off or shifted toward the edge, and extreme off-center strikes are highly prized for their visual impact, rarity, and the story they tell about the minting process. And if such a coin also displayed broad strike characteristics, where the collar fails and the metal spreads outward, producing a wider, flatter coin with stretched features of Lincoln's portrait or the reverse design, the rarity and value increase even more, and further adding to the potential value are die cracks, cuts, and striking anomalies, where small fragments of the die break off, leaving raised irregular areas on the coin, or where die cracks form intricate patterns along the date, letters, or Lincoln's bust, creating unique, one-of-a-kind coins that collectors find irresistible. And planchet defects also play a crucial role in elevating a coin's value, such as lamination errors, missing copper plating, unusual metal flow, or even fully unplated zinc cores, each of which enhances visual intrigue and rarity. And in 2002, production stresses sometimes led to blistering, peeling, or bubbling of the copper layer, producing coins that are visually striking and highly collectible, especially when defects are dramatic and preserved in mint state. And when we envision a theoretical 2002 penny worth $3 million, we imagine the ultimate combination of errors: a dramatically doubled die on the date, a severe off-center strike, broad strike characteristics, prominent die cracks or cuts, and a noticeable planchet anomaly such as missing plating or lamination error, all preserved in mint state with full red luster, sharp details, and minimal contact marks, because condition is one of the most critical factors in determining the value of high-end coins, and coins with perfect die appeal and a complex array of errors attract elite collectors who are willing to pay astronomical sums to own a piece of numismatic history that cannot be replicated. And this is the essence of why a 2002 penny could theoretically reach $3 million, because the intersection of rarity, uniqueness, visual appeal, historical context, and collector demand creates extreme valuations, and beyond striking anomalies and planchet defects, transitional errors must also be considered, which occur when leftover dies, planchets, or equipment from prior production runs accidentally mix into the current production, producing a coin with characteristics unintended for its official release year. And while extremely rare, the possibility of a 2002 cent struck on a misdated planchet, an experimental die, or with a subtle variation in metal composition could contribute to its extreme rarity and desirability, and when multiple errors combine on a single coin, the value potential multiplies exponentially, because collectors place immense premium on coins that are one of a kind, and the rarity itself becomes a story, a mystery, and a symbol of human error and mechanical imperfection captured forever in metal. And another category of high-interest anomalies is struck through errors, where foreign material such as grease, debris, or metal fragments become trapped between the die and the planchet during striking, imprinting unusual shapes or impressions onto the coin, which could distort Lincoln's face, the date, lettering, or the rim. And struck-through errors are rare and highly collectible because they represent a literal frozen moment of chaos in the minting process. And when such an error occurs on a 2002 penny, especially in combination with other anomalies, its value can skyrocket to levels that seem unimaginable, because rarity, uniqueness, and visual impact are what collectors prize above all else, and grading further amplifies the value, as a coin in flawless mint state with certification from NGC or PCGS provides both authenticity and historical legitimacy, allowing collectors to bid with confidence at premium levels. And in imagining the ultimate 2002 cent worth $3 million, we can picture a coin that combines a dramatically doubled die, a severe off-center strike, broad strike characteristics, die cracks, cuts, and planchet defects, all preserved in perfect condition with sharp details, full red luster, and pristine surfaces, and such a coin would become instantly legendary, drawing attention from collectors worldwide, creating bidding wars, and inspiring stories, media coverage, and lifelong fascination. Because the discovery of such a coin is not just a monetary event but a cultural and historical one, turning an ordinary penny into a treasured artifact, a collector's trophy, and a multimillion-dollar investment. And even though most 2002 cents are common, circulated coins with face value only, the possibility that somewhere, perhaps in a forgotten jar, a childhood collection, or a long-lost roll, a coin exists with this perfect combination of errors, untouched and preserved, is what drives collectors to search meticulously, examine each coin under magnification, study anomalies, and dream of the life-changing moment when a coin reveals itself as a masterpiece of minting chaos. And this potential for discovery, the thrill of finding something unique, the excitement of holding a coin that defies probability, is precisely what makes the story of the 2002 1-cent coin so compelling, because even in the modern era of advanced minting technology, human and mechanical errors still occur, producing coins that are literally one of a kind. And when such a coin surfaces in pristine condition with multiple errors, it captures the imagination, commands extreme collector attention, and becomes a multimillion-dollar treasure. And that is why the legend of the $3 million 2002 penny continues to fascinate collectors, fuel searches, inspire imaginations, and remind everyone that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprises, the rarest errors, and the most extreme potential value when the perfect combination of mistakes, anomalies, and preservation converge in a single, extraordinary piece of numismatic history. And so the 2002 penny remains a symbol of how ordinary coins can unexpectedly become extraordinary, demonstrating that hidden treasures can exist in the most unlikely places, waiting for the discerning eye, the curious collector, or the lucky individual to uncover a coin that is not just metal, not just currency, but a piece of history, a unique artifact, and a multimillion-dollar wonder. and this is the story, the excitement, and the ultimate fascination of the 2002 1-cent coin, a small piece of copper-plated zinc that carries the potential for incredible value, rare beauty, and timeless numismatic intrigue.